Missing someone. Missing someone. Missing someone.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you're new, welcome. I'm Lauren. So for today's video, I'm going to be creating something a little bit different. It's going to be a completely DIY based video. I fell in love with a belt recently that I saw a blogger named Jordan Sloan wear on Instagram, and I went on the hunt and figured out that it was actually a vintage Chanel, so they don't sell it anymore, and that actually kind of got my brain going, and I just wanted to create it because it's so cute. And I did look for it online. They do sell them, but they're all upwards of $500, and they go all the way to like $1,000. So that's a little bit crazy to me to spend on one belt. So I thought I'd do a little DIY and show you guys how I got almost the exact same Chanel belt. So I also created this little necklace that may or may not be a bonus clip in this video just because I had some extra material, so I thought why not just create a cute little necklace with it. But without further ado, let's get into the video. Here are some of the materials that you're going to need for this project. They're all going to be linked down in the description box for you guys. You're going to need jewelry pliers, a couple of different sized jump rings, a clasp, one pendant bezel, 3 Chanel logo buttons which I got from Etsy, some E6000 glue, and whatever chain you prefer to use. I chose this one because it matched the vintage look that I was going for. To start off, I'm just going to start taking all the necklaces and removing the tags, and I'm also going to be removing the ends of the necklaces because I'm not going to need them. All that I need is a chain in order to create the belt. So I decided to buy chain necklaces instead of the chain pack just because these chains had the vintage look that I was going for, like I said earlier, and they were also buy one get one free at Hobby Lobby, which I thought was a good deal. So next I'm just going to take all the chains and put them aside, and we're going to move on to the next part of this project. So now we're going to create the belt pendant, and for this you're just going to need one of the bezels. This comes in a pack of 2, but we're only going to need one in this DIY, and we're basically going to glue down one of the buttons with some E6000 glue. Since these are close buttons, they have the loop on the back where you sew them to the close. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our pliers and basically just cut off the back of the button in order to make it as flat as possible, and that will allow us to glue it down to the bezel. So when you glue the button down, just make sure that you center it. The button is 0.9 of an inch and the bezel is 1 inch, so it's going to have some free space to move around, so just make sure that you pat it in and let the glue set properly. So now I'm going to take the first chain and I'm going to measure it to my waist from hip bone to hip bone and then just cut off the excess. For this next part, I just kind of eyeballed it, but you're basically going to take 2 more chains and layer them around the chain that you just measured, just to create that layering effect that the belt has at the front. So here I was just setting up to attach both buttons to the ends of the chains. However, I set up 3 small jump rings and 1 big jump ring, and all that you need is 1 of each. So now I'm going to take one of the big jump rings and I'm just going to loop it into the hoop that the button has on the back, and then I'm just going to secure that in place. So now that both of the buttons have their large jump ring, I'm going to be taking 1 small jump ring and putting it on one side of the large jump ring, and then the 3 chains are going to go on the other side of the jump ring. I know it's a little bit confusing, but basically the 3 chains go on one side of the large jump ring and the small goes on the other side, just because the small is where you're going to attach the belt chain later on. Just in case you guys are wondering why I'm using so many jump rings, basically the hoop that the button has on the back is too small for so many chains to go through since the chain is so thick, so that's why I have to use jump rings just to attach everything together. So now I'm going to take 2 more chains and I'm going to attach them together, and this is what's going to create the belt part that we're going to wrap around our waist. So now I'm going to take this long chain and I'm going to attach it to the button that goes on your right hip bone. So I'm just going to be taking the small jump ring and attaching that chain to it. So next I'm just grabbing the S-shaped clasp and I'm just going to attach it to the small jump ring on the left button. And the last step is just to attach the pendant to the end of the belt chain. So after this, we're basically done with the belt. All that you have to do is just make sure that you put it on and make any small fixes that you need to the belt. But yeah, this is the end result. Since I had some leftover materials, I decided to take the chain that was left, and I had some other buttons that I'd also bought, and I decided to just make a necklace slash like wraparound bracelet. So on one end I used the same lobster clasp that I'd taken off this chain before, and I just attached it back with a small jump ring, and then on the other side I took a large jump ring and then I attached the button to it and attached it to the chain.
Is as normal, missing someone. With all your missing someone. Missing someone.
Like always, you guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.